Hello there, Year 11. Here is a video to help get you ready for your Literature Paper 1 Shakespeare, focusing on Romeo and Juliet. So there's a quick question on the slide there. What do these images tell us about what the examiner wants to see from an excellent literature response? And the umbrella is there to signify an overview. They like an overview in a form of usually an introduction where you explore the general significance of the character or the theme that you've been given in your question before providing that detailed evidence from the wider play or the extract. The spine there is this idea of a coherent response. They like to see that your ideas are all linked together. It's been focused on the question and is convincing in what it is you're trying to present. And also a detailed consideration of language, structure and form. You're showing that you can dig down, you can drill into and explore connotations of single words in some depth. So when you see those images of the umbrella, the spine and the spade there, we're talking about an overview, a coherent linked response and digging down into further details. So we're going to look at Romeo and Juliet now. This is an example, a question that was provided to us for this year. And there is an extract question which focuses on Juliet's thoughts and feelings at this point in the play. And then the essay question is, how does Shakespeare present love in Romeo and Juliet? So the shorter 15-mark extract question that you focus just on the extract for 20 minutes is on Juliet, her thoughts and feelings, and the essay, the 25-mark points worth for the longer piece of writing, 40 minutes, is on love, the theme of love. Here is the extract for the extract question, and I will suggest that you pause this and have a little read through. Now, when you are going to approach the extract question, you need to think about, once you've read it, where in the play has this extract been taken from? What is it in this particular extract that Juliet is contemplating here? Why is she contemplating this here? And when we first meet Juliet in Act 1, Scene 3, she has merely 7 lines. This is quite a significant soliloquy of Juliet here. What might Shakespeare be telling us about the way her character has developed and matured by this point? With any extract question you look at, if it's a character, what does the extract tell us about that character's thoughts and feelings at this particular point in the play? And this one is Juliet's. So hopefully you have an idea that this particular extract is taken from Act 4, Scene 3. And this is a significant moment for Juliet's character as she is alone and she's steeling herself to take the distilling liquor that Friar Lawrence has provided to make her appear dead. This is a desperate plan, but one that she has to go through with as the alternative to marry Paris is one that she just cannot contemplate. When the audience first meet Juliet in Act 1, Scene 3, she seems to fulfill the expectations of an Elizabethan woman. She's passive and she's submissive. And she does have still some elements of childish vulnerability within her language here. She's also shown to be extraordinarily eloquent. She's imaginative and she is independent. So you would place this extract, it's Act 4, Scene 3, and you look at actually how Juliet has got a significant soliloquy where she is speaking eloquently. So to tackle the question, you could think about these particular prompts. What are the thoughts and feelings that Juliet explores in this soliloquy? Could you potentially create your own topic sentence for each of these? Uncertainty. Where can you see that Juliet seems uncertain? Shakespeare explores the doubts that Juliet expresses about Friar Lawrence. She wonders whether So you can have a look through the extract to see where you can find evidence where she's unsure. Fear. Juliet fearfully imagines waking up in the tomb. Can you find quotations in this extract which shows she's actually quite fearful? And horror. The soliloquy gathers pace, and we'll look at the structure in a moment, but the thoughts enter the realm of a nightmare as this pace develops through the soliloquy. She is horrified by the prospect of waking up, being buried alive. So what does this tell us about Juliet's thoughts and feelings at this point in the play? She's unsure, she's quite fearful. It is quite a horrible prospect that she's going through. And here are some other questions that might help you approach this particular extract for those that want to have a go at writing it. Why is a soliloquy a helpful dramatic device? What is the purpose of a soliloquy? It shows the innermost thoughts and feelings of a character, often their most truthful thoughts and feelings. Why has Shakespeare used the soliloquy here? Where do you find interrogative sentences? These are your sentences with question marks. They're smattered throughout this particular soliloquy. What do they show? Are they showing confusion? Are they showing her uncertainty? Are they showing her trying to resolve herself? Throughout this particular soliloquy, hyphens are used throughout. It helps build up the pace of her worries, talking about her nightmare, but it also structurally would recreate Juliet's breathlessness of this particular moment that she's feeling. And how does Shakespeare draw on sensory description to paint a picture of Juliet's fear? Can you find any senses that she talks about, like the smells and the sounds, which shows that she's actually quite frightened being in this moment in the tomb? And which imagery is the most macabre? That means the most dark, associated with death. What is the impact that this will have on the reader? We know she's going to fake her death, but the audience also knows that her death is inevitable. What is the impact that this macabre imagery has on the audience? And then finally, what are your conclusions? How would you define Juliet's character now at this point in the text? Do you admire her bravery? Do you pity her desperation? Do you acknowledge her vulnerability? If you wanted to, you could have a go at writing a response to this and giving yourself 20 minutes. Now, these are the two mark schemes. The one on the left is for the extract question that we've just been looking at, the 15 marker. And the one on the right is the essay question, which is the 25 marker. And if you have a look, they're very similar in what they're asking you to do. The top bands are asking you for a sustained focus on the task. That's the idea of the spine, the cohesive ideas going all the way through. So you'd focus on the Juliet's character, for example, if you were looking at that, or it would be the theme of love if it's the essay question. They want this overview. If you can see, both of them ask for an overview. So this is AO1, that first box, an overview and that link throughout. And for AO2, it's looking at language, which is word choice, form and structure, and being able to dig down and explore how meaning is presented through those particular word choices. So the skills and the way you approach your writing for the Shakespeare question is very similar, but the additional challenge in the essay question is that you need to review the whole text. You won't just focus on the extract. Otherwise, the principles remain the same. And of course, you get an additional 5 marks for the essay question for your spelling, punctuation and grammar. So this is the essay question for those of you that would like to have a go at attempting to write that. How does Shakespeare present love in Romeo and Juliet? Refer to characters and events from the play in your answer. When approaching the essay question, I would unpack, if it's a theme specifically, but also with a character question, unpack what that particular theme or character means in the play as a whole. For example, love. What different types of love are there within the text Romeo and Juliet? And is there a change in that theme as the texts go on? If the question is a character, how does Shakespeare present Juliet in Romeo and Juliet? You would unpack what the character of Juliet's role is within the text, and does that change throughout the course of the plot? What is the overall impact for her? These are some thoughts that I'm going to go through that you could use if you wanted to write your essay using our prompts, or have a go at coming up with your very own plan. So the different types of love in Romeo and Juliet, of course, are the courtly love with the rules that Elizabethan society would follow, and we see Romeo very much demonstrating in the way he's trying to woo Rosaline, and then again Juliet, courtly love, putting them on a pedestal, the patriarch ideal, and that reference of Juliet saying you kiss by the book, her almost mocking him because he's followed that courtly love rule book to the letter. Idealised love. Rosaline is idealised. Juliet is idealised. The patriarch up on a pedestal, being in love with the idea of being in love. But we've also got cynical attitudes to love in Romeo and Juliet, and they're represented with the characters of Mercutio and the nurse. They present a counter argument. They're quite cynical in the way that they talk about love. And then you could explore, how far can love truly exist in a patriarchal society? We have Romeo and Juliet meeting and coming together and falling in love with this spiritual connection of the shared sonnet in Act 1, Scene 5. However, we do know that Paris is betrothed, or will be betrothed, to Juliet through her father's blessing, because it's a patriarchal society. So you could potentially explore the tensions that are posed there. Here are some more points that you could say. Juliet's arranged marriage to Paris links to the patriarchal society. Rosaline's adoration of Romeo on a superficial level is that idealised moment I talked about. Mercutio and nurse's cynical attitude to love, and that true love shared through that sonnet, that courtly love, the patriarch format there. So you can just pause the screen if you want to, or turn this off and have a go at writing the essay should you wish. Here is our final slide, just to talk a little more about the character of Juliet, famously referred to as the balcony scene. Act 2, Scene 2 of Romeo and Juliet begins with Juliet standing on her bedroom balcony talking to herself. She muses how unfair it is that the striking gentleman she kissed moments ago is in fact Romeo Montague, a young man from the family her Capulet kin are warring with. Romeo has crept into the Capulet grounds in order to find Juliet and overhears her words. Stepping out of the shadows, Romeo presents himself to Juliet, and the two embark on an impassioned conversation in which they try to define their feelings and profess their love for one another. Their declarations are cut short both by the fear that Romeo will be discovered and by Juliet's nurse insistently calling her to come back into the bedroom. Before Romeo finally leaves, Juliet steals away from the nurse and returns to the balcony. She issues Romeo with instructions about covertly communicating with her the following day in order for them to make plans to marry. And that is taken from the British Library. And you can get this PowerPoint would have been put on Satchel and emailed to you, and you can click on that link to give you some more additional reading on Romeo and Juliet. So I hope that helps Year 11. Use those thoughts for the essay question that's on that slide there. Use the thoughts and ideas on this particular side if you want to have a go at the extract question. And yeah, drop us an email if you've got any worries or concerns. Good luck.